In this video, I'm gonna help you get away from being burnt out because burnout is real. And fellas, here's what you're not admitting and here's what you're not being real to. First, number one, you're trying to handle it all. And I get that because it's like, it's fun to have a lot of responsibility. It's fun to be doing a lot of things. But when you do a lot of things and have a lot of responsibility, it's a lot of time and attention doing something and it's a lot of energy output, right? And if you let something slip, you'll feel like you're uncommitted. You might feel weak. There's all of these things that like really go at our ego that are not helpful in the grand scheme, which allows us to, or which kind of forces us and makes us feel like we need to add more on and just say yes to everything. And then all of a sudden we are burnt out and out of shape and everything. And we're sitting looking at somebody else being like, I don't know how we got here. No, we know how we got here. So how are we going to do this? What do we want? We want relief. We want balance. We want a sense of control. We want respect. We want acknowledgement from others. We want appreciation. Those are the things that we want. Now, it doesn't have to always come from just overworking. So I want to say that again, because I'm really speaking to myself. It doesn't have to come, Ricky, it doesn't have to come from overworking. So how do we get out of burnout and what can we do, right? So I'm going to look at my notes and I'm going to help you all out as I help me out as well. Number one, take mental breaks. It's so important. However it is to take mental breaks for you might be different for me. What I like to do is I actually have a walking desk treadmill in my office. I like to just walk on that for 5 or 10 minutes and just like have a podcast playing, right? That's for me is a mental break. It's like, okay, I call it time off target. It's something my dad would always say is like, you need to start taking time off target because when you're focused, it's like, think about it like this. I'm like stuttering through it because I'm so excited to get this out. But if you're staring at something for too long and you haven't blinked, what happens? You get blurry. Your eyes get dry and it just gets blurry. And you think that you're focusing really hard, but what happens is you're missing everything. So what you have to do is take time off target by blinking. So take time away from doing the thing that you might love doing, but that's causing you burnout. Number two, learn to say no with a clear purpose, right? So saying no is so important. And I've said this on other episodes or on other videos, because when you say no to something, you're saying yes to something else. Saying no is not a bad thing. Saying no is just saying, hey, the other things are more important. And I just kind of can't handle anymore. I love to lift. I love to work out. But if I'm sitting here and I'm benching a certain amount of weight, it's like, if I'm maxed out right now, it does me no good if somebody's like, yo, you want me to put 10 more pounds on? Why would I say yes to that? Because what's going to happen is I'm going to pull a pec, I'm going to hurt myself, and then I'm sitting back and I'm looking stupid, and somebody's like, well, why didn't you say no? Like, you knew that you were going to hurt yourself. So what happens is, because we can't see a breakdown when it comes to a mental in between the ears, we actually can't see our brains, but we can see a physical breakdown. We just think that we can handle more and more and more until all of a sudden we snap. So what you want to do is you want to say no with a clear purpose of why you're saying no. Number three, delegate tasks to free mental space. I think that this is so important. So the one thing that is, that we do here in our house, Carly and I, is we have a house cleaner that comes every other week and we love it. Now we are very clean, we're very organized, and we have 2 dogs and this house is always like spotless or close to spotless, but it's also because we like it that way. Now, we know that with our busy schedules and with 2 dogs and all that we do, we can't maintain it like that. So what do? We delegate tasks. Why? Because if not, on a Saturday morning, instead of us spending 2 hours to clean the house and whatever, it's like, well, we want to enjoy our time. So we have to delegate that task, right? Down the road, when kids come into play or whatever, we've already had this conversation. We're like, no. So when I was in Singapore, when I grew up, I lived in Singapore for a few years, was blessed to live in Singapore. Singapore has a culture where it's like having maids, like live-in maids, right? So my parents worked for the U.S. Embassy, and like everybody just had a live-in maid. We had a maid, Miss Maria. She was basically a part of the family. She was a part of the family. She lived with us, right? And so she did all the dishes, laundry, everything like that. And what I realized was like my mom was like, just so relieved. And I kind of sat back and I was like, now I understand it, because it's like she didn't have to cook, she didn't have to clean, she could just focus on her work, she could focus on time with kids and everything. And I was like, oh, that's a really cool thing. So what Carly and I had a conversation about was like, hey, down the road, like kids come into play, like, okay, this laundry, this and that, like maybe we have somebody come and step in to do that stuff, because we can also continue to grow the things that we want to grow and not feel so burnt out and actually maybe get a little bit of rest, right? And so again, it just depends on where you're at in life, but finding areas for you to delegate tasks. When I do this video, I don't edit my own videos, because if I did, it would take too long. I would get burnt out. You guys would see 2 videos and I'll be like, see me in the next video, and it wouldn't come for 6 months. If you look at my other channel and the blips in times where I just like wasn't posting, that was why. Number 4, schedule time for yourself. Now, be selfish about this. You have to put your life vest and your oxygen mask on before you can help anybody else. Schedule time for you. And how you schedule time, for me, actually how I schedule time is going out and getting a haircut, right? Because it takes me about 20 minutes to get to my barber. I enjoy that time. I typically go on a Friday after work. When I come back, there's a little bit of traffic. So I'm listening to a podcast, I'm listening to music, but there's probably a 2-hour time that's like for me where I'm like, oh, I have to go get my haircut, which is great. But it's like, this is the time I've scheduled for myself to just relax and enjoy and just decompress and really just be kind of off the grid. And so whatever that time looks like for you, make sure that you schedule it because it's important. It's gonna be the thing that helps you get off target. So once you get back on target, your aim and your focus is 100% in line. And then number 5, transition better. You all may have heard me talk about this in another video, but it's very important. If you don't master your transitions, life is going to be very, very tough. So my daily schedule is this. I wake up at about 4:55 in the morning. I get out on my run by anywhere from 5:30 to 5:45. I get back from my run about 6:25. And then Carly and I are in the car headed to the gym about 6:45. And then we're back in the car headed home at like 7:45-ish, right? Gym's really close, 7:45. So Carly will walk the pups, I'll make breakfast, hop in the shower, boom, 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 and then I'll start my work day. I'll be sitting at my laptop by like 8:30 to work, right? So there's transitions. Then after the work day, about like 5:30, I come out of my office, I'm making dinner. That's another transition, right? So then I can flow into life, marriage life, just focusing on Carly, right? So when I'm in my workout, I'm only focused on that. I'm not worried about work. Then when my transition moment is like, I'm making breakfast, I am taking a shower. So then I'm getting my mind right for the workday. Then I'm in the workday. It's all I'm focused on. Then after that, my transition is making dinner and just enjoying, decompressing. And so then I can get back into my marriage life. Now, why are transitions important? It's because it allows you to decompress as when there's a lot of stressful things happening or when there's a lot of things going on. My workouts aren't easy. That's a stressor. I enjoy it, but it's a stressor. Work isn't easy. I enjoy it, but it's a stressor, right? I love spending time with Carly in my marriage. That's not a stressor. I want to get to that without feeling just burnt out and run down. So having transition points in your life throughout your day is going to help you get there. That was it. That was number 5. So again, number 1, take mental breaks. Number 2, learn how to say no with a clear purpose. Number 3, delegate tasks to free mental space. Number 4, schedule time for yourself. And number 5, transition better. I promise you it'll help. That's it. See you all next time. Peace.